Hey cloud gamers, and welcome to the Cloud Gaming Extreme channel, your destination for all things cloud gaming. With Google TV, Android TV app being full scale now, we thought we'd have a look at a native 4K game, or as close to, with HDR being Doom Eternal here, on the Google TV, Android TV app and the Shield TV Pro. This really becomes a battle between HDR and non-HDR and VP9 v2 versus just standard VP9. The reason for this is the Google TV with Chromecast is the only one out of these two that supports the VP9 v2 codec that Google uses to enable HDR on the device, so you will not see HDR on the Shield TV Pro until they can include that codec, or maybe in newer hardware. However, HDR really is a matter of preference. So it really depends whether you like the over brightness on Doom Eternal here on the left, or the kind of more natural darker feel on the right. It depends on the game whether HDR is implemented well, but unfortunately there is not a huge amount of games with HDR enabled on Stadia right now. So if you don't have HDR enabled hardware, you're not going to be missing out on a massive amount of titles, but Doom Eternal is one that does implement HDR quite well. As we look at Google TV full screen here, we can see that vibrancy of the HDR in effect. We can see that we don't have any screen tearing or resolution drop either with the full 4K, and we look like we're pushing at least 60 frames per second here, and it does hold extremely well. As we go over to the Shield TV Pro, we do see that dip in the color variation, although I actually quite like the more natural grungy feel of the graphics here. And I actually find that the detail of the characters and also some of the environment actually looks a bit more defined. So although it's not as bright, I feel that the detail and the color variation is actually slightly deeper on the Shield TV Pro side, but I'm sure you would get the same if you just disabled HDR on the Google TV. Input latency wise, there was no difference. They were both using the Stadia controller paired, which, if you have used the Android TV app, is not the greatest experience no matter where you use it, and is far from the slick Chromecast Ultra version. Again, if we look at these stairs and as we come up to the archway, we can see that it's so much brighter with the HDR implementation on the Google TV, but the contrast for the quality just looks slightly nicer on the Shield TV Pro. At the end of the day, if you already have an Android TV device, then the lack of HDR is probably not going to be enough to sway you to purchase the Google TV with Chromecast, especially if you've already got a Chromecast Ultra which will support the HDR. As you come into a bit more of the boss fights, you can see again that detail on the Shield TV side on that execution, and as we look at the environment here, we do see a slight resolution drop in the dynamic resolution. And again, we see that it's just a brightness difference and really is going to be a matter of preference. As we go back full screen on the Google TV side, we definitely see a huge color variation boost. And sometimes I do feel that it just goes a bit too bright. Again, I think that this is more a matter of preference. You get used to either one when you're playing. As we switch to the Shield TV, again, if you didn't have the HDR switching on and off, you probably wouldn't notice too much of a difference and would be more than happy with the color variation here. Let us know in the comments below whether you prefer HDR on or off, and whether you think that the Google TV with Chromecast looks as good or better than the Shield TV Pro version here. At the end of the day, they are both Android TV apps, so it will come down to a fact of where you currently play and what is going to be easiest for you. One thing to note though is that you will most likely need a Stadia controller in both circumstances, as using a Bluetooth controller on either of these with the Stadia Android TV app is not the greatest experience. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things cloud gaming, and we will see you next time.